exciting.
Good early afternoon. We are live. I'm Andy Andrews. You've joined me on the Blue Plate Special, and we are downtown in Orange Beach, Alabama, high atop the skyscraper that is the wharf. And we're here. Tammy Nance, hey. Don Keller, howdy, howdy. How you like the shirt? The shirt is from Sand Dollar Lifestyles, the cornerstone of the wharf down there. You know, we got a lot of people in the studio audience today. She needs to move. You need to move because you're where you can't see. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm always very concerned about the sight lines in here. You know, somebody doesn't need to sit behind a column. But we're having a good day at the wharf. It is officially, I think the temperature is 140 degrees with a feels like 210. Like 2 more degrees and our blood will boil here. It is unbelievable. We've got the Orange Beach Church ladies here. So no cussing out there, ladies. No cussing. We're glad y'all are here. And Les Dawson says, hey. Danny Kilpatrick, good afternoon. You shared. Thank you very much. If this is your first time with us, if you're on Facebook or Meta or whatever they're calling themselves now, we would appreciate you sharing to your page. Serena Stillgarner sharing from rainy, cooler Ferndale, Arkansas. At least it's cooler than 100 degrees. Yeah, I was coming down from Birmingham the other day and it rained and you know, I'm coming down the interstate and it's 80 degrees. And I'm thinking, I wonder, you know, because it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And so I'm thinking, I wonder if it'll get past 90 on me today. And it was like 82 when I passed Montgomery, and Evergreen was like 82. It was really nice. And then I happened to look at the temperature when I passed Atmore. It was 102. I was like, good grief. So it's just crazy, you know, and it is really hot, but at least it's humid. So, Shelly Hess, good morning. Austin Andrews blew your mind this morning, didn't he? Yeah. For those of you who have not seen the podcast yet, it just came out this morning, and my guest yesterday was our son, Austin, who sings and plays and writes songs. And he finally let SB and Matt talk him into being on the show. And we're kind of blown away. He's going by Austin Gray. Austin Gray. Gray is his middle name. And so Austin Gray Music is, you can find him on Instagram or find him on YouTube at Austin Gray Music. Marcy Crosby Taylor, so you loved seeing Austin this morning. I know it was like a big shock for people. So it was a big shock for us. 2 years ago, we didn't know he could sing. And you know, he hadn't let us tell anybody. And so Christy Woods, that's Aunt Christy to Austin, Heather Olson, shared in Utah, and I appreciate you watching The Professional Noticer, and yes, Austin, it is amazing to us too. Donna Latham, hey, happy Tuesday. Leonard Sanchez, hey, good morning, how are you? Is it morning where you are? Because it's afternoon here. I'm just saying. We've got a good show for you today. Are you from Green River, Wyoming, Leonard? Do you know the significance of Green River? I wonder if you do. There was a Green River Knife Company, and the Green River Knife Company, Green River knives were what the trappers and the fur traders used to carry, and there was a euphemism for dying back then, and the euphemism was "he's gone up Green River," and the reason for that euphemism is they would evidently at these places would get in knife fights a lot, and on the knife blade it was written Green River, and so when you get stabbed you went up Green River. And so that's why every time I see the town of Green River, Wyoming, I think about that. So George Gosser, yeah, how about Austin? George says Austin needs an agent. Yeah, I'm thinking so too, or a manager or something. J-Mo, how are you doing, J-Mo? Do you like this shirt? Yep, this is Sand Dollar Lifestyle. Jen Andrews, Judy Atkinson, got a lot of people tuning in today from all over. What is there, anybody from out of the country? I'm curious. Georgia is out of the country, yes. Deborah Keeler, good morning. We're going to talk parental observations today. Bonnie Dozier says, what is your son's name again listed on YouTube? It's Austin Gray Music, isn't it? Austin Gray Music. And she says, please list it here. So if you can.
Yeah, I mean, we just posted the first video to his channel last night, so I'll put the YouTube in there and people can go subscribe to him. And
okay, yeah, and please subscribe to his channel. Yeah, the first video just went in there last night. I mean, he's just letting us tell anybody that he can sing. But he is actually performing. He was down here at the wharf last night. Not that you would know, but he was. And so it's Austin Gray Music on Instagram and on YouTube. So we're talking, since we were talking about our son, we thought we'd do some parental observations. And we asked for observations from parents of all age children. And so we've collected a few here, and you know how some things can be true and not be the truth? Well, when you hear these observations, you're hearing the truth. I mean, I'm telling you, like, how about this? There is no one louder, more observant, or as articulate as a 3-year-old in a public restroom stall with their parent. That's the truth. That's the truth. I mean, I remember when Austin, he was probably 5, and he was learning to read, and we were in a bathroom. This was in Birmingham, Alabama, in a restaurant, and he wanted to go into the stall by himself. I was outside, so he goes into the stall by himself, and I'm standing outside there, and he said, and I hear this, Dad, there's a lot of writing on this wall. I said, really? He said, yeah, there's a lot of words. Here's one. Shh, 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 shh. I said, whoop, whoop, whoop. That's okay. That's all right. You got it. I mean, he's going to sound them all out for me, you know. All right, here's another observation from a parent. We had friends we had not seen for a long time who were coming to visit from the Netherlands. Our 7-year-old kept asking us if their kids had grown. We couldn't understand why she was so fixated on this. Neverland. She thought they were coming from Neverland. Have they grown? Have they grown any? We've got friends coming from Neverland. Okay, now this one says, this one starts, despite what my spouse may say. That's how it starts. But I'm going to go ahead and make a call on this, that this is a dad saying this. See what you think. Despite what my spouse may say, playing college drinking games with water is a fast and fun way to make sure kids are staying hydrated in this summer heat. Yeah, I'm thinking that's a dad. Playing drinking games with his kids with water. That's got to be a dad. We have recently traveled with our 4-month-old baby to Europe. Here is an essential tip for parents who wish to do the same. Don't do it. Yeah, that's an essential tip. You know, we went when Austin was like, he was 3 or 4 months old, and we went to Italy with Austin. Polly was nursing. Thank God. Because on that trip, we were stuck on the runway in Atlanta for 11 hours. With a baby. If she hadn't been nursing, that would have been more miserable. But I mean, you know, every time you woke up, just latch him on. And you know, everything's fine. 11 hours. That's against the law now. They can't even do that now. They can get you out there for 2 hours and run you back to the terminal, though. You know, I was in Nashville, and on a plane, it was a Sunday afternoon, and they made the announcement that there was a mechanical on the plane and that they were having to call a maintenance person to fix it, and if we would just sit there. So after like 30 minutes, they announced that the maintenance person was on the other side of town. He was not at the airport, but on the other side of town, but was headed this way. So 45 minutes later, the maintenance worker comes on the plane, and he is carrying a roll of duct tape. He walks right beside my seat. I see the duct tape. I see he's going toward the back of the plane. So I follow him. And when he gets back there, he starts duct taping an overhead bin that won't latch properly. And I started taking pictures. And the flight attendant said, "Sir, are you taking pictures of that?" And I said, "I certainly am." I am. I mean, so this is the only guy. He had to come from across town, and everybody had to miss their connection so that he could put duct tape on an overhead bin. Why did I think of that? Maybe it was the traveling to Europe thing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Here's from a young mother. My husband and I committed to never yelling at our children. Then we had children. Yeah. I love this one from a dad. My son was already cuddling with my wife by the time my daughter made her way to our bedroom this morning. This prompted my daughter to throw herself to the ground in protest. So now the official cuddle rankings in the family are number 1, my wife, number 2, a cold hardwood floor, and number 3, me. Yep, Dad ranks after the hardwood floor. Can't get with Mama? Throw yourself on the floor. Don't cuddle with Dad. Yeah. How about this? This one is today's world. In case you were worried that kids don't play with Barbies like they used to, I just went into my daughter's room, and there were Barbies everywhere in the dream house. She said they'd all been murdered by Mermaid Barbie, who was still at large, but there was to be a trial soon, and I could watch it on CNN. Good grief. I love this from a dad. Kids with rich parents have a higher chance of ending up as entitled and snobby. And so I hope my kids appreciate how much I have gone out of my way not to be rich for them. Oh my gosh. My 5-year-old just announced that he wants to name his first child Godzilla. I know it sounds crazy, but looking at his class roster, it could be worse. You know, that is true. There's some odd names. There are just some odd names. And I swear people are making these things up. Do you know, I'll tell you where I was. I was in Bozeman, Montana. I was in Bozeman, Montana. Speaking at an event. I remember Bozeman, Montana for 2 things. One is this event I was speaking at in this autograph that I signed. And the other thing I remember Bozeman, Montana for is they have this Holiday Inn, some big kind of fancy Holiday Inn. And in the lobby, the lobby was this big center thing, and they were going to have a wedding there. I was there on a Saturday. They're having a wedding Saturday afternoon in the big, a Holidome. That's what it was, a Holiday Inn Holidome. And so they had this big wedding set up, and there was a glass elevator that, you know, you could, as you going up, you could look down and see the wedding. And so as I was coming down in the elevator, I'm seeing all the wedding people out there, and over here I see the bride and her dad that are set, ready to walk down the aisle. And I'm looking at them, and I'm thinking, what are they doing? Then I realized what they're doing. Before they walked down the aisle, the bride was doing shots with her dad. Yeah, that was pretty classy. Yeah. Bozeman, Montana. That's what I remember about Bozeman, Montana. Yeah, where the brides do shots with their dads before they walk down the aisle. So anyway, that night, afterwards, I'm signing some books, and this young mom comes up to me, and she has a baby in a carriage. I mean, the baby's like less than a year old, and she has one of our children's books, and she says, would you sign this for my son? It will be his first signed book. And I said, yeah, I'd be glad to. And so I said, tell me his name. And she said, his name is... something like that. That's what it sounded like. And so I said, spell that for me. And it was like KRZLYZR KRSTVLYCK. And so I'm doing it, you know. Then I write persist, Andy Andrews. And I said, that's a very unusual name. She said, yes, it means king, seeker of truth, wise man of the world. I said, wow. I said, where did you guys find that? She said, we made it up. Oh, you made it up. So I guess you made up the definition of it too. But it was so bizarre that I said, you know, that's a beautiful name. If you will, give me those letters again and let me write that down, because I want to tell my wife when I get home. And of course I did. Look at this. Okay, here we go. I have no clue why. I like this one too. I have no clue why, but my 12-year-old nephew was bragging about how he could beat me at bowling. I said, I'll bet you $20 you can't beat me at bowling, and I'll even bowl left-handed. He quickly accepted. Fast forward 2 weeks, we just had our game, and I absolutely destroyed him. By the way, I am left-handed. You know, that's what happens. That's what happens when a 12-year-old tries to match wits with an adult. Remember when you were a 12-year-old and you just kind of thought, yeah, I got it. I'm old enough. I got it. Or maybe you thought it when you were younger. You know, Austin, I'm thinking about Austin, Mr. Music here, but Austin was probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old. And we've always said Austin's been 40 years old ever since he was 6. But it was the day in the spring when the daylight savings time, when we had put the clock forward, right? And so we were, Mom and Adam had already gone to church, and we were headed to church, and we were going down the street we live on, and Austin was still pretty little. He was in the back seat, in the booster seat, you know. And so I'm driving, he's right here, and I just commented, I said, we're gonna see how many people at church forgot about daylight savings time. He said, yeah, you know, I always just wonder about the animals. I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, you know, they're out in the woods and it's supposed to be getting light, and it just doesn't get light. It just like stays dark for another hour. And I said, well, buddy, that's a function of the clock. And he said, no, Dad, I'm talking about the animals and how they are expecting it to be light, but it just stays dark. And I said, buddy, that's us. He said, Dad, you're not understanding what I'm saying. So I pulled off the side of the road and I leaned over the back seat and I said, really? Okay, well, explain it to me. And he goes, never mind. And so the next week was the opening day of turkey season, and it was gonna open on the Saturday morning. And so we had gone to the camp on Friday night, and there's a guy up there named Martis Overstreet that is the caretaker of the camp. And so Martis is usually listening for turkeys, before the season, to kind of tell everybody, okay, they're gobbling over there, some roosting over there. And so the boys love Martis. And so we get out of the car, and they immediately go to find Martis, and I follow them. And so I said to Martis, they hug him, and I said, so we ready for tomorrow? And Martis said, I don't know. And I said, what's up? He said, I've been listening, and the turkeys, they hadn't been acting right. They hadn't been gobbling. I said, really? Why is that? Martis looked at Austin and said, I think that's that extra hour of dark that's got them messed up. And Austin just fell on the floor. Oh my gosh. But we've managed to get him with that for about twice a year for the rest. We were on a cruise one time in Buddy Green with the Gaithers. When you're on a cruise and you're crossing Alaska into Canada, it switches time, and you have to set your clocks differently. And so Buddy called Austin over to the window, and he said, have you seen any whales today? Austin said, I have not. But he said, you reckon it's that extra hour got him messed up? Austin will never live that down. He'll never live that down. Okay, here we go. Pulling out of the driveway for a 2-hour car ride to visit family, my 5-year-old from the back seat said, don't turn on the radio, Mama. I brought my harmonica so I could play you some music. Whew, that'd be a long ride. Long ride. Here we go. Dad says, I told my 6-year-old son, it is important to tell your parents everything. Earlier today, he said to me, when Mommy woke up this morning, she looked 100 years old. I said, don't tell her that. This is from a dad. I hate to break it to you, but cancel culture is real, even in my house. My daughter had friends over and said to me, I'm hungry. I make one dad joke, hi hungry, I'm dad, and from now on when she has friends over, I have to be in a different room. Have you ever experienced that split second of panic when you realize you said yes to your 4-year-old, but you were distracted and you don't actually know what you said yes to? I remember that. I love this one. I may appropriate this one. My 10-year-old saw a box of salt on the counter and asked me what idiotized salt was. She says, in any case, that's what I'm calling it from now on. I think I may call it that too. Hey, could we have some of that idiotized salt? And here's a dad. It is a conundrum, isn't it? We want our 13-year-olds to understand how important honesty is, but also to remember to say they are only 12 when we buy movie tickets. My daughter calls children's liquid ibuprofen pain juice. Of course, I've demanded she not call it that in public, otherwise social services might be visiting my home. Yeah, can you imagine that? Mama, can I have some pain juice when I get home? I used to mess with my mother when I was a little kid. We would be in grocery stores, and when I was like 5 or 6, I don't know why I would do this, but I would look up at my mother real serious and I'd say, Mama, can I have some food tonight? And she would look up and I would say, don't lock me in the closet again tonight. And my mother would just start laughing. And she would say, he's kidding. He's just kidding. And I'd go, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. And my mother would just cry laughing. She couldn't quit laughing. And so I guess the people, the cashier would be like, and then she would go, oh, Andy, and she'd reach out to him and I'd go, she said, don't do it. I was horrible. I don't know why I did that. But anyway, this is from a family. The 2 stages of sharing a vacation rental home with another family. First stage, I wish we were more like them. And the second stage, at least we're not like them. All right, well, there we go. There we have today. You know, I told this, Sonia, I got to tell you. I showed this to a family today and told them what I think about every time I see this picture. This is Austin and Adam when they were little kids with our dog Carver. Now, that picture was our Christmas card one year. And so one of Polly's friends was showing it to her like 90-year-old father who was half blind. And she said, Daddy, look at here. Here is a picture of Polly's boys. And he looked at it and said, who's the black child with them? So every time I look at that, I think there's Austin and Adam and our black child, Carver. Now, the boys have moved out, but I still miss Carver more than I miss them, I think. Oh, Ron Reams, it's good to see you. And we're glad you guys were here today. We appreciate y'all joining us. Thursday, we have Monica coming, Monica Early, and we'll be talking more protocol in the airport. You know, the last one we did a protocol on an airplane. She is our retired chief protocol officer for special operations, and so she is a contributor to Wisdom Harbor and does protocol conversations, manners, and this stuff. And last time we talked about manners on an airplane. And that turned into one of the funniest blue plates we have ever done. And so this time we're talking, she wants to talk manners in an airport before you get on the airplane. And I think we're already pretty worked up about this. So anyway, that's this Thursday. And you need to be a subscriber to Wisdom Harbor, wisdomharbor.com. Our stated goal is creating the next greatest generation, starting with your hometown. And so we need everybody to be on the field with this. We need the whole team on the field. This is very inexpensive, okay? It's $27.99 for the year. And so, but we need parents, grandparents, police stations, fire stations, business owners in the town, not just the teachers and the students, okay? So we need to put the whole team on the field. This is creating conversations between young people and adults, and conversations is what we need these days. All right, so thank you, and we'll see you Thursday. Bye-bye.